enjoyed lunch. I must admit I was a fan of those little mini pies at morning tea. I think I went too heavy. Definitely went too heavy. Already sent a note to Andrea saying how good they were. Before we kick off in this afternoon, the final session, and the final session this afternoon starts off with Hugh McKenna from Bentley's Insolvency, and then we're going to do a little bit of an open forum, a little bit of a session on action planning, and we'll be winding it up somewhere around 4:15 or such. Ali from the Outsourced Accountant has a bottle of Moe to give away. Has anyone not put a card in? Is anyone thinking I might win it, take it home to my spouse and say I bought it for you? Yep.
And the winner is? Who have we got? Marnie from Achieve. Oh, Marnie, what do you got? Oh, we might get in trouble.
She's gone.
Oh, she's actually gone?
They had to leave, yeah. Yeah, she has. They can't see.
All right, redraw.
Yeah.
Who have we got now? M&S Group Accounting, Ray Warren.
Just what that table needs, more grog. Yes, that's pretty good hair of the dog, that stuff. Okay, and again, thank you to Ali and the Outsourced Accountant for their generosity and support. Our second last sponsor's quick 10-minute session is now being done by David from REAP. And again, we'd like to thank David and the team for coming over from WA. And he's going to give you a bit of a run-through about how REAP is a great cash flow and budgeting tool and how it can assist your practices. Would you please welcome David?
Good on. All right, can everyone hear me? I'll just make sure I clipped in. Thanks for all the people who stayed behind to see me and you haven't run away. All right, I know you all came just to see me. All right, so what I really want to talk about is purpose. So is the purpose of your firm to help clients create a high-performing practice by monitoring their vitals a lot like a high-performance coach? Or are you a bit more like a doctor that has a bunch of thriving patients that you hardly see due to their vitality and a whole lot of other clients that you have that survive in spite of their own best efforts? So what does these healthy clients that you rarely see look like? Now, we've discussed for the last 2 days. So obviously a very healthy income statement and balance sheet, which I agree are a big sign of vitality. But Dun & Bradstreet in their 2014 data, they did some research and found out that 90% of all SME failures were due to cash flow. So if the income statement and balance sheet are like the strength or the body of these client businesses, cash flow is the oxygen they breathe. So if they breathe more out than they breathe in, or if they hold this metaphorical cash flow breath too long, their business will eventually pass out and die, regardless of this size. This is the secret burden and fear of every single one of your small business clients. So what do these unhealthy clients look like? They're like emphysemic. They have really poor cash flow management. And they're struggling for enough of this oxygen to survive. Now, this can be the root of all their bad business decisions. These clients do things like they borrow too much because they've got no visibility of the future, and so what they do is they overcompensate. Or they don't borrow enough to resource what's happening up ahead. And so what they end up doing is becoming penny wise and pound foolish and making really silly basic decisions because they've got a great deal of uncertainty about what's coming up. So they do. For example, I met a firm the other day who wasn't replacing computers that was wasting up to 2 hours per day of their staff's time because the computers were always rerunning. Now, those computers, in 2 days they could have paid for new ones and they lost productivity. So they were just being penny-wise and pound-foolish. What they do is they end up underpaying staff or hiring subpar staff because they're unsure about income. So the only control they have is cost. They tend to buy things they don't need or buy them at the wrong time. They tend to sacrifice product quality and customer service quality, which affects the business. And they lose a lot of sleep at night, which drives further poor business decision making. This is the cancer that eats away at all of your small business clients. The good news for this is it's a very easy problem to solve. So with simple, agile cash flow forecasting that is monitored monthly and that works collaboratively with you as an advisor, it gives them very easy control over this process. We've talked for the last couple of days about building your practices out into advisory because of the declining eventual margins in compliance, etc. This cash flow, because 90% of these problems are failures and problems are associated with cash flow. This is where 90% of your opportunity or easy opportunity in advisory is. And not only that, it's regular income. So the problem, when I talk to firms, one of the problems we have with advisory is we fear the lumpiness of the cash flow for our own firms. Now, one thing about this sort of cash flow product is it's regular cash flow that comes in every month through meetings. REAP Online Forecasting is a tool you need to realise this opportunity. It connects directly with your client's accounting software. It brings in the whole chart of accounts without mapping. It allows you to do a 1 to 5 year forecast, and the accountant software is actuals come in automatically all the time, every month, and you can see a live traffic light budget to actual all the time. And what this allows you to do is build in a cyclic budgeting process, a rhythm, a cadence every month with your client, and build a framework on which to lie advisory. So these numbers become a catalyst for conversation. So every time you see a red light, that's a catalyst for a conversation which can build into project-based work, so that lucrative high-margin project-based work. But what the simple cash flow piece, it solves an immediate problem that the client worries about, but creates a rhythm, a lot more like your compliance rhythm that you have now, but it's forward-looking. So it gives the clarity for a client in future numbers that you currently give them in past numbers. It also leverages the existing skill and knowledge you already have. This is not new knowledge. This is not new skills. This is skill and knowledge you already have. You're just pointing it forward instead of back. This solution is low cost to you and very high value to the client. The beautiful simplicity of REAP also creates an understandable and simple framework. What we found with some of our other products, and a lot of products in the market, one of the problems we found with cash flow forecasting is that we had low client engagement because of its complexity. So you as an advisor understood it beautifully, but the clients disengaged with the process because they didn't understand the complexity of it. So what we've done with REAP is we've made it deliberately client-centric. We've made it a lot simpler, a lot more visual, because we found the first battle is to keep the client engaged in the process, and then you can build on top of that with a whole lot of the service. But if you lose engagement at that point, you've lost them for good. So the first battle is that engagement through simplicity and great design. This cash flow mentoring coaching service that you build around REAP creates regular high margin work for you that starts paying right from the first engagement. Our purpose as a firm is to unlock the latent high performance that is hiding inside every one of your SME clients. We would love to work with you to help you build a robust revenue source for your firms and to help you become the hero and unlock that latent high potential in every single one of your clients. So I'd love to speak to any of you when you've got time afterwards, either Nat or I, and I look forward to meeting you all later. Thank you.